In the quiet but steadily growing town of Umumba, where tradition blended with modern ambition, lived two young women whose friendship was once the envy of many, Obiageli and Ifunanya. They met during their secondary school days, two bright girls with dreams bigger than the dusty roads of their hometown. Obiageli was calm, kind-hearted, and deeply loyal. Ifunanya, on the other hand, was charming, outspoken, and carried an air of confidence that drew people to her effortlessly. Despite their differences, they became inseparable. After school, life took them in slightly different directions. Obiageli went on to study business administration at the university, while Ifunanya pursued mass communication. Distance never weakened their bond. They spoke often, shared secrets, and promised never to let life come between them. Years later, fortune smiled on Obiageli. During her National Youth Service, she met a wealthy and influential businessman named Emeka Okafor. Emeka was known not only for his success but also for his calm demeanor and generosity. Their relationship blossomed quickly, and before long, they were married in a grand ceremony that became the talk of Umumba and beyond. Ifunanya attended the wedding, smiling, celebrating, and standing proudly beside her friend. To everyone, she was the supportive best friend anyone could wish for. But deep within her heart, something began to change, a quiet seed of envy that she tried to ignore. After the wedding, Obiageli moved into Emeka's luxurious home in the city. She often invited Ifunanya to visit, eager to maintain their close friendship. At first, everything seemed perfect. They laughed together, reminisced about old times, and even spent nights talking like they used to in school. Emeka welcomed Ifunanya warmly, seeing her as a sister to his wife. He respected their bond and never imagined any danger in her frequent visits. But gradually, Ifunanya's intentions began to shift. What started as harmless conversations with Emeka turned into longer discussions, subtle compliments, and calculated moments. She studied his likes, his habits, and the things that made him smile. Unlike Obiageli, who was often busy managing the home and adjusting to married life, Ifunanya gave Emeka a different kind of attention, one that was new, exciting, and dangerously appealing. At first, Emeka resisted. He loved his wife and valued his marriage. But temptation has a quiet way of growing. The more time Ifunanya spent in the house, the more her presence lingered in his thoughts. Their conversations became private. Their laughter grew more intimate. Lines that should never have been crossed slowly faded away. Before long, they found themselves entangled in a secret affair. Obiageli, trusting and unsuspecting, noticed only small changes. Emeka became distant, less attentive, and often distracted. Ifunanya, meanwhile, maintained her role as the caring friend, offering advice, comfort, and even pretending to help fix the growing cracks in the marriage she was secretly breaking. Time passed and the hidden truth became harder to conceal. Emeka's affection for Obiageli faded, replaced by an intense attachment to Ifunanya. What was once a stable and loving home turned into a place of confusion and silent tension. Then came the day everything changed. Emeka made a shocking decision. He declared his intention to marry Ifunanya. The news shattered Obiageli. At first, she refused to believe it. Her best friend, the same person she trusted, loved, and welcomed into her home. The betrayal cut deeper than anything she had ever known. When the truth finally unfolded, Obiageli realized that the signs had been there all along, hidden behind laughter and false loyalty. Despite her pain, she refused to fight for a love that had already been stolen from her heart. With dignity and quiet strength, she chose to walk away from the marriage. She left the grand house, the wealth, and the life she once dreamed of, not because she was weak but because she understood her worth. Umumba was shocked when news spread that Emeka had taken Ifunanya as a second wife. Some condemned the act, others whispered in disbelief, but one thing was certain: the friendship that once inspired many had become a cautionary tale. As for Obiageli, she returned to rebuild her life. It wasn't easy, but she found strength in herself, in her resilience, and in the lessons life had taught her. Ifunanya gained what she thought she wanted, but peace did not come as easily as she imagined. A bond built on betrayal rarely stands without cracks. In the end, the story of Obiageli and Ifunanya became a reminder in Umumba. Not every smile hides goodwill, and not every friendship is meant to last forever. Lock Jailbreak. Umumba had its own rhythm, slow in the mornings, alive in the evenings, and full of stories people pretended not to know but whispered about anyway. But none spread like the story of Obiageli and Ifunanya. These two were once inseparable. If you saw one, the other wasn't far behind. They shared dreams, secrets, even clothes. People used them as an example of what true friendship looked like. Then life upgraded one of them. Obiageli didn't just marry, she leveled up. Emeka wasn't just rich, he was powerful, respected, and dangerously attractive in a quiet way. The kind of man who didn't need to say much to be noticed. Ifunanya noticed, and that's where everything started bending. At first, she played her role perfectly, loyal friend, constant visitor, trusted companion. But inside her mind, a different story was writing itself. She wanted more, not suddenly, not loudly, but steadily. She studied Emeka like a book, his moods, his silences, the cracks behind his perfect image. And then she did what Obiageli didn't realize she was doing. She filled those gaps, not aggressively, smoothly, a compliment here, a laugh there, a moment that lingered just a second too long. And Emeka, he didn't fall, he slipped. Quietly, gradually, until there was no ground left to stand on. What they had was dangerous because it wasn't rushed. It was built, carefully, secretly, deeply. Meanwhile, Obiageli was living in a house that was already being taken from her piece by piece. Until the truth couldn't hide anymore. And when it came out, it wasn't soft, it was brutal. Emeka chose Ifunanya, not behind closed doors, not in whispers, openly. That kind of betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it rewrites your entire reality. But here's what shocked everyone in Umumba. Obiageli didn't fight. She walked away, no noise, no drama, just dignity. Because sometimes, the strongest revenge is refusing to compete for something that should have been yours completely. Ifunanya got the man, the house, the life, but what she also got? A silent fear that never leaves. Because deep down, she knows, if he could betray once, he can do it again. And Umumba, oh, Umumba never forgets. They just stopped saying it out loud.